What's going on? Welcome back to the Kickin with podcast. My name is Zac Holcomb. This is episode 33, and today I've got the folks Bailey and Fizz, Harry Mahler, and his daughter Hadassah. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Thanks for having us, Zac.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We're recording this on a Friday, so we're going to go ahead and say happy Friday because we made it. These guys just closed down the shop here about 6 o'clock and strolled on over 300 North Herritage, and we figured we'd go ahead and talk about sodas and candies and all those things that'll rot your teeth.
That's right. Especially for the younger generation. So.
Absolutely. Well, they have like the hardiest of teeth, so we can start early, right? You know what I mean? No, I love it though.
That is true. Well, my 5-pound bag of gummies probably didn't do me too well over the years. So try not to smile too much on your show, because if I do, they might see that some teeth might not be there.
Yeah. But no. I appreciate you guys coming out. So if you don't know anything about these folks right here, and you're like, oh man, usually you have people of Kinston on this thing, and you're like, who are these people? I've never seen them before. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to switch it up a little bit and spotlight another family that decided to move everything they've got going on to the little town of Kinston.
Yeah, no, that's correct. I appreciate that, Zac. So
for sure.
We, long story short, Hadassah I always point to, she actually was born in North Carolina, so she's truly a North Carolinian.
Back home, yeah.
I am not. We actually come from Pennsylvania. We originate from the Northeast, and we had spent about 12 years back up in PA after Hadassah and 2 of my other children were born before coming back to North Carolina. So,
sweet.
What brought us here? Well, a little bit of a hiccup. I actually took a position. I'm not sure if I ever told you this, but I took a position with a company. Really, it was a mission called Global Education Ministries, called GEM, based out of Wilmington. We went to Wilmington 12 years later, and it had just changed so much. It's like Raleigh of the coast now.
Yeah,
and we didn't want to come back to the Raleigh. We wanted to be more in a smaller community, and so we turned down that offer and kind of had to really scramble because we had already sold our home.
Right, looking for a place
and we were committed to being in North Carolina, and so we just happened to come across Nathan Perry. Mm-hmm. He showed us everything via camera, and we bought our house technically sight unseen in Kinston, and we're kind of glad that we did because, it's a small community. People have been pretty welcoming, and that's been pretty cool so far for us. And then obviously, behind the scenes, you had alluded to Alien Fizz. Mm-hmm. That's something that we kind of had in the works to do for the last couple of years. Really, it started up in Pennsylvania. COVID shut down. Oddly enough, I come from the mattress industry. We had a store called No Badger Mattress that we had to shut down during the COVID restrictions because we weren't considered essential. So sleep is not essential. It's not essential. It is definitely not essential. At least according to the governor, who we won't mention.
Was that here or Pennsylvania?
That was Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania was much harder. There was probably 4 states that were really strict. Mm-hmm. Obviously California, New York, but Pennsylvania actually might have been a little bit stricter than New York. I know you get all that stuff from New York, but Pennsylvania was pretty tough. And he did it by counties. So a county that didn't necessarily follow his guidelines got shut down longer. And York County is a pretty rural county, so it's, a lot of the people there are a little bit more...
Yeah, they weren't playing by that game,
Yeah, and so our county indefinitely we got shut down, where I ended up losing about $60,000 and had to switch gears, and that's when we started getting into soda. Mm-hmm. And we opened my office, turned into a little soda shop.
Nice. And
it just kind of expanded from there. And a couple years later, when we came to North Carolina, we wanted to do something fun for the community, and thus Alien Fizz. So,
nice.
There's obviously more to it than that.
For sure.
I don't want to rattle on for 3 hours.
That's cool. Yeah,
right,
the camera
Hadassah?
goes for 3 hours and 11 minutes, so that's all we got.
How many minutes are we in?
24.
24.
Well, since we turned it on, we've been chatting off camera and doing all that fancy
stuff. So I got
stuff,
2 more hours to rattle on.
Dude, we got 2 hours easy left. So, yeah, go ahead. She's like, no, man, I'm hungry.
That's right. What is the Alien Fizz experience, Hadassah? Go ahead.
Smile at the customers when they come in and be sure you're kind to them.
That's part of it.
Right.
But isn't it having Daddy talk for 2 hours to him?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's what, have you noticed now when I come down to see you guys, I tell you guys what time I have to be out of there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you. I walk in, I'm like, "What's up?" I almost make it all the way through the store, and then out comes Harry, and he's like, "Hey, Zach," and I'm like, "Listen, I love you guys, but I legit have a meeting at 3, so as long as I'm out of here about like 2:55, we're good." And it's like 2:30 when I make that, and then legitimately it will be 2:53. And I'm like, I really have to go. So, but I love that. It's fantastic. I think it's awesome.
So that's why I hide in the back, because I know customers will come in and like, "Phew, I dodged Harry. Now I can come in Hadassah. She doesn't talk much, and we'll be in and out." And then Harry pops out of the back, and here we are.
Yeah, boom, here you go.
40 minutes later, and he's still talking about, how he developed the soda, what this old-fashioned candy is, and all that. Yeah. So, but to me, that's the alien Fizz experience.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's fun, dude. Like I said, I love it. I try to shoot as many people down the street, especially on the Saturdays where, like, just go down. You got to hit this place for sure. I actually was, like, scooting around the other day, moving scooters and riding the one wheel, and these 2 girls were in town. They were like, "Is there anything?" I think you guys probably had them in. They were like,
did.
"Is there any other shops to go to?" I was like, "Did you hit the candy shop?" They were like, "Oh yeah, we already hit that." And I was like, "Cool, this or the other," and it was really funny. But they were pretty gassed up about the time at the candy shop too.
No, and that's kind of why another part of the reason why we did it was to just bring something for the kids. Mm-hmm. Big kids, young kids, kids that are in their 80s, which we've had. Just something that throw back to the days of when you remember the 5 and dimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I grew up with them, and I, always kind of dreamed that I would have something like that. Mm-hmm. Little did I know it would be a twist on, like that. A galactic theme. But
well, it's like the new and the old together at one time. It's a pretty cool crossover. Really.
Yeah.
The branding of something that's old fashioned with new style branding, to me, it's pretty cool. It takes creativity and it's fun.
And it was intentional. I mean, we came up with, we can't tell you yet what the mystery flavor is, and we can't tell you yet what Fizz really was. Okay. But, maybe on our 10th anniversary or something, we can come back and do where the origin story of Fizz is, because it's definitely was not soda originally.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of the mystery there, right?
She just smiles. I love it. That's generally the reaction you're going to get from Hadassah in the store is Harry's going to tell a funny joke, he's going to look at her, and she's going to smile at you.
Yep.
I love it. It's hilarious. You guys have a great
That's our experience, so that's part of our experience. So
for sure.
Which reminds me, we brought this for you. Now, we always think of alien Fizz, but we actually brought you some baking soda.
Oh, man. Oh, you got... So the other day, this is like a little side story, I was going in, and Steph was like, that's hilarious.
Bacon air freshener. So we're not just candy and soda. We got some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think somebody likes these.
Oh, yeah. What's up on the Smarties? I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My favorite candy.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, dude, you guys are sweet.
So that's what's good about modern day POS systems. Although I didn't look up the history, I
think I bought 3 or 4 of those tubes of Smarties down there already. Smarties are my favorite candy, pretty much. That's not chocolate, and Harry's not a big chocolate guy. I've learned over time. So we keep going in, and we're like, he's got all this candy. I'm like, where's the chocolate? Where's the chocolate? So I went down the other day, and I was like, I asked my wife if she wants anything. Steph was like, nah, he doesn't have any chocolate down there. And so I think I mentioned it to you, and then I go in the next time, maybe the second time after that, and there's chocolate bars on the countertop.
That's right, made to order. That. We do that on purpose. So
yeah.
We do listen. I mean, they may not think that I listen when I talk so much, but I try to listen. I'm trying to glean information in the conversation so then I can bring it to the store.
Dude, you nailed it on it though.
Yeah, and we do have chocolate soda, but I just didn't. That's a little different, different taste. But I'm glad she liked it. So, and that was bacon, by the way, right?
Yeah, she did the bacon.
She got the pigs and taters.
Yeah, pigs and taters candy bar. So I saw it and I was like, dude, you smacked it out of the park on this. There's nothing more Eastern North Carolina than a chocolate bar with bacon and potato chips in the candy bar.
Yes, that was intentional, and it's actually been our best seller candy bar wise. We can't keep it in stock, so it's a good problem to have in this
don't go
case.
buy it because it's for me, so if you don't mind. I'm just kidding. It's freaking awesome. Like, we took it home, she was like snacking on it. She was telling her mom back in Ohio about it, and her mom's kind of going through this stuff. She's generally a very healthy eater, but she's kind of on some medication that's making her kind of want to eat.
Cravings.
And she was like, Actually, a chocolate candy bar with bacon and potato chips sounds amazing. We were like, Laurel, that's not like you. Like, you're the salad girl. Like, what are you doing? And she was like, yeah. So we're probably going to get a box and shoot them up there. I'm taking full advantage of this opportunity to try to get her to eat as many different things as possible. Because usually she's very like, she's like that health nut person of the family.
It's kind of like she's pregnant. I mean, even though she's not pregnant,
yeah,
they have those cravings, for like ice cubes and and bacon. I guess if you ever have a craving for bacon when you're pregnant, I'm not sure because I haven't been pregnant, but
yeah, I don't.
Sarah was ice cubes.
Ice cubes.
Pickle juice, I've heard.
Yeah, definitely pickles. I think Steph was pickles on our oldest for sure.
Pickles, yeah. That's I hear. I think it's usually those two things. Ice cubes, I don't quite understand. Maybe it's the Freon. I don't know. Maybe the Freon pop. Maybe it gives the baby something they can. I don't know. But yep, that's it. So I'm glad she liked the candy bar. So
no, for sure, that was awesome. Got bacon soda now, bacon air freshener. That's amazing.
And hopefully some bacon that's actually chocolate covered coming. So chocolate covered bacon. I hope.
I like that idea.
We'll see.
Do they like make it all and then they dip it?
Yeah,
or
they
something,
dip it.
like
They dip it in a So it's just like a bacon strip in chocolate, and then there's a bacon strip that's chocolate and spicy. So we're with the barbecue fest coming up.
Oh, you guys are gonna smack on that.
That's kind of our part of the intentional long term is to think about the bacon people.
Yeah.
The barbecue people.
Well, yeah, and that's very true. Anything that's pig related that you don't sell in the next 3 months will definitely sell the first weekend of
That's kind of what we're hoping. Like, we even have the bacon candy. Did you see that? And the bacon candy canes.
I thought you were supposed to tell me about all the new stuff when I come in.
I guess I didn't.
You skipped that. That's fine. He came out and started chatting at us.
The young kids I still got to teach them. So next time I'll just hide behind I'll hide back there and I'll listen to see if she tells you about the bacon candy. There's fried chicken. What other ones do we have that are there?
There's pizza candy, and then there was also...
Yep, pizza.
What was the last one? Hot dog?
And a hot dog.
Hot dog in there?
And there's hot dog candy canes, too.
Hot dog candy canes.
So
is it like have ketchup and mustard swirls around the outside? Like,
kind of.
Interesting.
The company that does it is just, they do all stuff that's just crazy. Yeah. Like they have a sardine one.
Okay.
But I didn't want to bring the sardine one in because I don't want the store to smell. I mean,
you should actually get the sardine one and take it down to Reynolds.
Actually, I should just take the candy cane down there to them, a plain one, and then have them, keep it in with the fish, and then we'll bring it back and say this is more natural than even the ones that these guys do artificially.
That is very true. That is very true. It is a definite smell of the fishiness down there. You guys go down there? Have you been in?
I've been in. We stopped in. We kind of, with the store, we're a little bit more tied down than we normally were prior. But I stopped in when we were getting ready to do the throwback hot dog day, and I stopped in and saw them, and they were kind enough to let us put the poster up too in there.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
So it was a good way to kill two birds with one stone. We got to meet them, got to see it, and gave them a flyer. So, in fact, that day we actually took Hadassah over to see the Mother Earth hotel or motel because we'd never been in there, and that place is pretty nice as well.
Really cool.
And then we saw Kevin with Oakley Gifts. He's the new florist in town.
Oh yeah.
And so we got to go and see him. Who else did we go and do the rounds on?
We went to see M&D Gifts, too.
Yep, we saw Misty and, is it Misty?
Misty and Dawn.
And Donald, yeah.
Nice.
We went in to see them.
Did you go back in the back and check out all the books? Tons of books. I don't know if you guys are into books and stuff.
We went there once, and I got a book, and I read it, and I liked it, but I haven't really looked at the book since.
Yeah, they're 25 cents.
I know, they're really cheap.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. And they've got, like, some cool stuff. Actually, like, for, like, the flip game, if you were into flipping stuff, like, some of those books back there are, like, $7, $8, $10, $12 books. Pick them up for a quarter, throw them on eBay store, and just wait. I mean, starting out there, a little business opportunity.
It's the Amazon FBA sellers. For all you Amazon FBA sellers, you get your app, you get your Amazon
that's true.
app, you scan it with your phone, and
Did you ever do that?
Did I ever do that?
You sound like you know a lot about it.
I know a little bit about it.
From time to time, maybe?
Yeah.
I'm full-blooded. Like, I had an eBay store going hard. I was like, when I quit my job before we moved down here, I cashed out my retirement. And so I just had a living cash around. And I just started going to garage sales on Thursdays and Friday mornings. I just wake up as early as I could, pull cash out of the gun safe, and just straight to and I just buy as much stuff as I could and list it on eBay all week. Like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'd list stuff on eBay. And I love it. Actually, a funny story. Just this last week, so I've been here for 3.5 years. Everything I bought in Ohio and brought with me. So I haven't really done a lot of buying here. And I sold a pair of, I bought Reebok, old Reebok pumps. Like the basketball shoe with the little thing on the front.
She's never seen, well, she's probably seen them.
Yeah, so it's got like the little like basketball on the front.
You're starting to date us.
Yeah, I know. It's all right, though. But any of these shoes were super cool. Let me tell you about them. You had this little thing on the front, and you would pump it like this, and it would, like, pump air into the shoe, and it would tighten the shoe for you. So you'd, like, tie them, get pretty tight, and then you'd, like, pump this air vacuum, and then it was like...
Oh, I think I've heard of those, like, in a book once. They might have had those.
Was it written, like, 40 years ago when we were kids?
Oh, no.
That's funny. But anyway, I found these shoes, like, at, like, a thrift store and bought them for $6. And they sold on my eBay store the other day for $147.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, let's go. And I totally forgot, like, we forgot we had them. I bought them for myself, and then I just never wore them. And then Steph, like, listed them. And we listed them at some, like, ridiculous price that we thought no one would ever buy. And the market eventually just came up to where, like, we were the good deal.
All the other ones ran out, and so now they had nothing left.
I did that with Pokemon cards, too, believe it or not.
It makes sense. I mean,
that's cool.
That is kind of neat. I mean, the FBA part, I could share
a whole nother episode
stories on that and eBay and stuff, but I actually, just to give you a real quick, I started selling online back in 1999.
Nice.
I'm one of the first. I always tease my one son because he's a techie. He's my oldest son, Gabriel, and I always say, if it wasn't for me, Jeff Bezos wouldn't have Amazon today.
He didn't even have an idea about it.
Yeah, he had no clue. I mean,
that is true.
So, but I mean, we humbly speaking, that's not true, Jeff. So if you're watching, I did not. You don't owe me.
Don't sue us.
You don't sue us or anything.
Just send like a $100,000 check.
Yeah, you can send me a nice check for making sure that your platform worked and worked out the kinks and was good customer service or bad customer service, I guess too.
Yeah. Well, you got to learn from something.
That's
you
right.
learn from failure. So you provided. Did you help him out with that?
That is right. Yeah, the negative 5-star review. So,
that is hilarious.
Which is what I always tease Hadassah about. Like if we're running late in the morning, I said, somebody. Always tease her and say that somebody parked, like right outside the store, and they write, they're writing on the review that they left a negative review because they had to get out of their car, and our store was locked at like 10:59, and it still wasn't open, and they went the whole way across, the sidewalk to get to us, and negative 10-star reviews. So
it happens like that, though.
Yeah, you just said that this morning.
I did say that this morning. So that's a little bit of our alien Fizz humor.
I like that.
Bad humor more so, probably.
I'm kind of ticked off I didn't get the full apron attire tonight. I was really hoping you guys were going to rock the aprons. Those are awesome.
I was going to, but
awesome.
I didn't think it would show. I'd have to stand up for people to see it. I kind of was thinking about it.
It gives people a reason to come in and check it out.
That's right. You have to.
I love those.
That is part of the experience, too.
Yeah, so, for sure. That is what I will say is like you have really attached a touristy / very special feeling about just going and getting what you can grab. You guys have stuff that's not at the grocery aisle while you're standing there. Obviously, you have like more of this like the nostalgia, the cool random candies that people are like, oh my gosh, I remember that when I was a kid, and that's really the draw I think that you're trying to put together, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's on purpose. I mean, it's to bring back the memories, the smiles, because you think about it. We always talk about how it takes a village to raise a child, and all that, but in the community, really, I mean, what tends to bind kids together is candy. I mean, what do people do when they come to the Christmas parade? Kids aren't coming necessarily to see, me on a float, or the, the mayor or the, whoever else on the float. They're coming for a bag of candy. And so, candy to us is essential. But, I mean,
it's definitely
politics
a
aside.
Factor. Yeah. You can think whatever you want around the world, but you still like eating candy.
Right. It's just a lot of people have good memories of it. So, and that's intentional. Exactly. The experience is intentional. So.
I feel like you just foreshadowed a little bit that there's going to be an Alien Fizz float in the Christmas parade this coming year. I feel like that was a little
foreshadowing.
Yeah, a little foreshadowing.
Yeah, Leon.
I'd be excited for that.
Leon
cool.
would probably
or just
like
characters.
that. So.
You got to get like the blow up suit of Fizz. That would be super cool too.
He's the one that we would like to see.
Like the sumo suit, inflatable, but Fizz.
Yep.
Cool.
We've looked at doing like a mascot because I think it would be neat to have a mascot of it, but I'm not artistic enough, and it is not cheap. We had a little stuffed animal developed, which you'll see in our store now, and the only reason you'll see it in the store is because it cost me like $275 to do it.
Got to put it to use.
But I'm not gonna ever actually able to to produce it because it costs so much. Like, who's going to buy a stuffed animal for $99? Well, maybe Jeff Bezos might.
Yeah, you got to put it
on eBay. He might do it, but I am not going to try to purposely do that for folks. But anyways, that was cool, stuffed animal part. So, what do you think about that?
Expensive stuffed animals?
Yeah, love them.
Speaking of stuffed animals, off the track here, how many turtles do you have? Stuffed animal turtles. This is
58 of them. I just got a new one recently. Number.
So your jam is the turtle?
That's why we have the turtles at the store too. So a little insider information. We have a couple novelty items that are turtles, but it's really because of Hadassah.
It's my fault. So if you don't like them, you have to come get me.
I like it. Well, yeah, you hope people don't like them, so you get to look at them for longer, right? They stick around on the shelves.
That's right. That they.
Have you guys been to the aquariums yet? Down at like Fort Fisher or Pine Knoll Shores or whatever? You gotta check that out.
The boys have. When we were in North Carolina originally. The boys have been down there.
It's really cool.
You haven't been there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Check it out. I got like this picture of our kids on like the little turtle statue outside. That's what
I only remember the aquarium in Pennsylvania we went to, and that was when I was really young.
Okay. Yeah. I guess we have a trip at some point when the store allows us to go down.
Yeah, it'd be a good Sunday.
Probably like 7 years old at the time or so.
Really? Okay.
Are you guys you do the homeschool thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, smart.
If I know what you're talking about.
What? She does homeschool. Yeah, she does homeschool. So all of our kids at this point, 4 of them. Gabriel graduated this past year, so
cool.
He is done. And it is not me. Most of you don't know Sarah necessarily, but she's my wife, and she's the one behind all that. And if I were teaching, it wouldn't go well. I think we'd have a lot more tears from the kids because that's just who I am. Yeah. I expect a lot, but she does a wonderful job. She keeps it under control. So.
And she wouldn't lose her temper like I might.
Oh, so you're a little hotter tempered than Mom?
A little, I guess.
Yeah.
It depends. Sometimes it depends on the day.
What gets you fired up specifically? Anything? Math work. You don't like the math? Oh, that's why it was making you crack all those numbers the other time I was down there.
Yep. I work my math in at the store for her.
I like that. Well, that's what I like about the whole thing too, though. Is like not only did you guys come out to town and do all the stuff, like Nate, super cool guy. Like we kind of met him initially when we were up there. We kind of talked to him a little bit. My dad still talks to him pretty frequently.
Not your dad looking for properties?
Always. He does property in Columbus.
Okay.
So, which is where we're from, and that's kind of like where we kind of figured out that property is a pretty good game to be into and stuff like that. So, we haven't really Grant's got a house down here. I'm still renting until we get the upstairs finished so we can move up there. But
which is about 6 months away?
It's been about 6 months away for about 28 months. Yeah. So, but seriously, we're trying to get that done in the next 60 days.
Okay.
So we're actually making the mad dash on that now. So
that'd be right in time for spring.
Yeah, I want to be in by the end of March is my goal.
Yeah, then you can literally, like I said, roll down the stairs and into work. So
I want that so bad. And a lot of people are like, well, are you a little nervous about not getting a break from it because you're always going to be at the same location? I'm like, I'm pretty much here and I don't wake up early. I don't set an alarm. Whenever I wake up, I wake up. So,
whenever it's natural.
Yeah. Which is usually right at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And so I get here about 9:30, 10 o'clock during the week, which to a lot of people is like, how can you do anything when you don't show up to work till 10 o'clock? It's like, because I work until midnight. So I'm getting 14 in. I would say I take a break in the evening and stuff like that, but from 10 to 6, I go pretty good at it. From 6 to 8, I kind of unwind and chill a little bit. And then usually
we're his chill part.
Yeah, this is the hanging out.
This is his chill part tonight, yeah.
Yeah, this is the hanging out, and it's still work, right? You know what I mean? So I guess you could say it's not really work. But we like the slower community for sure, man. We go to Greenville for I can be in Greenville, and you go in there, and where it has that weird Y. You go into Greenville. You guys might not know because you haven't been.
I've been up there a little bit.
Where I get to it, and it V's off like this, around
Fire
the mall.
Tower Road near there.
I can usually not want to pull my hair out yet at Fire Tower, but when I get about 3 more lights up, I look at her and I'm like, this is exactly why we live in Kinston. I hate this traffic. This reminds me of home. It's horrible.
No, and that is why another reason, one of the benefits that I like to Kinston is that it's just not that way. Yeah. And I don't know if it ever necessarily would get that way, even if it grew, because the road system here is...
It's not circular.
It's
well dispersed.
It's actually it's meant to have a city feel.
Funny you say that.
Because everything crosses here, but there's not. There's nothing here.
Like 50 years ago, there were 30,000 people that lived here. Now there's 20,000.
So 10,000. I mean, that's almost a 50% decrease. Well, not quite, but math's a little fuzzy here. Hadassah, what was that math?
Is that 1/3 down, but 50% if we went back up?
Yes, that's 1/3.
Thank you. That's why she's on the show right there.
That's why I don't ring up their transactions anymore.
She's always running the register.
She's always running the register. Math and me don't get along either.
Me no do math. That is funny. But
that makes sense though. That's why this area kind of is just. Well, and I know it from a serious part of it is jobs left. Factories closed, tobacco dried up. I think they said agriculturally with the tobacco, and then something with cotton in the shirts. Yep. Like a DuPont plant or something, I think they said.
Yeah, there's a DuPont plant. They had a T-shirt factory over just about that way, about 5-ish blocks. And then, tobacco obviously everywhere. But, yeah, those were the things, and they all kind of left all at once. So.
Yeah, and that's the vacuum. And that's part of another reason why we chose downtown Kinston. And Kinston is, I know we don't get to share this often, and it's not something we go out and cheerlead on. But, one of the reasons we wanted to kind of plant a seed for tomorrow, for the next generation, and we felt that having a store like Alien Fizz or something like it, could bring community together and give the community something to come to, and then hope that other people would not necessarily duplicate Alien Fizz, but say, hey, you know what, I always wanted a game store, a gaming store. We'd love to see a gaming store downtown, and some other things that we've thought of, but I can only be at one place at one time. But that's the stuff that I would like to see start to come in. And I think a skate shop's coming in. Is that correct? Over on Queen Street, next to the Chamber. And so little by little, you're starting to see entrepreneurs come back. Yep. And that's important. I mean, it's great to have, your big companies, but it would be better to have 100 little guys bring in.
Oh, you get way more care in the community when you have that. Because, I mean, like, the CEO of Walmart's never coming to Kinston, but the CEO of your business, my business, these other small businesses, we live here and all that stuff. So, I think that's a major thing. Retail experiences, not just retailers.
Right.
And that's kind of what I think the world's kind of getting back to. Everything that you can buy or you could have bought at the mall. I hate hearing this crap about, if the mall came back, Kinston would be back. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. It's the 3rd fastest growing city in the whole country. They're demolishing an old mall this year, and they just closed another mall literally 2 weeks ago. So, and I like sharing that. When I see it in my feed, I like sharing that to the local people to be like, if the 3rd fastest growing city in the whole country hasn't opened a new mall since 2006, and it's demolishing one this year and it's closing one this year, then why do you think that this little town needs a mall to be successful? No one with a mall is really doing it. They're closing them. So everything, I say that to say that everything that you would go to the mall for traditionally to buy in 1997, you order it on the internet.
Right, Amazon.
Yeah, they've capped that market. I hate Amazon. You can hate them all you want. Right. And I can understand the sentiment. But now people still want to go to stores from time to time. And what gets you to go to a store that literally all they do is have stuff on the wall that you can buy on Amazon? Well, why go? Right. But if I can go and it's an experience, and I get a 37-minute conversation while I'm buying my sweet tarts. I'm just playing, but you know what I mean?
40, that's the 45 minimum.
I was being but the experience is the reason why.
It's an expensive sweet tart.
The retail experience is the reason why. I know that I can order Smarties on the internet for cheaper than going to Alien Fizz, but no one's gonna chit chat with me, and I don't get to bounce off funny ideas or talk about stuff that I think is comical, and then hear things that you think the engagement and the relationship and the communication is it's why you go. It's a retail experience.
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot to be said with physical versus virtual, if you want to call it. I mean, obviously e-commerce is huge, but there are some things that you can, if you have a question, can I drink this baking soda? Does it have peanut allergies? You might not find that online, or you might find it, but you might not trust it. So, a local business can probably at least tell you or at least point you in the right direction. So there's benefits there. We actually had a girl, her mom had called us because her daughter has peanut allergies. And
just going to ask you.
I for me, I knew some of the stuff said peanut free, but a lot of it doesn't, on the nutrition label, doesn't have it. So I contacted a couple of manufacturers of stuff that we carried to make sure that they could assure us that certain things didn't have it. I don't know if Walmart would do that, and I'm not picking on Walmart, but I'm kind of gathering that they probably don't have the time to do that.
Right, you're not going to get that personalized. A person might be like, that's a good question, and then that's about where it ends. But yeah, that's what I was going to actually ask, was like how, the ability, and I don't ever think about that because I have no allergies to this point, and I don't ever even, neither do the kids, so we don't even think about that stuff. But like there's a whole part of the community that they have that, and that's part of their day-to-day life, and like they're still trying to present these cool experiences to their kids that they had growing up, but they've got to be careful about the way that they do it. Right. And like, like you said, you can search it and Google and stuff, but like, are you going to give it to your kid?
Right.
You can come here and like, you can be like, I don't know, but I will ask them, and I'll hit you up in a couple of days on like Messenger. What can I get your information, or can I call you? And
and
that's the touch.
And that's the part we like.
Right.
I mean, I actually hate to say that I long for that, but it really is. That's the kind of thing that I like to see. I encourage people to ask those type of questions, because in the process it teaches me, but it also teaches her, and it's also just a way for us to be part of that community, and know, that there are these concerns about allergens, whether you can't have wheat, if you got a wheat allergen, a peanut allergy. We had somebody in the other day that they're here weekly now because their son and daughter have a mold allergy, of all things. So they can't have like mushrooms and other things. And, where does she come in at the end of each shot that they have each week? They have a shot. She comes into to our store, which is kind of neat. I mean, cool. Not for the reason that they have to come in,
right,
but for the reason, that it's something fun for them to look forward to besides their shot that they got to get the doctors once a week.
So that's like an impact that you're having on people's lives that you'll never actually get to really see the payoff of. But like somewhere down the road in like 20 years, there's going to be some kid that's like, yeah, I used to have to go to Kinston to get this thing done, but then my mom would always take us to this candy shop, and it was really cool. And they're,
yeah, and that's
cool.
That's
you'll
the
never
key.
know.
No,
but it's.
And that's
it's happening.
Those are the things that stick with us. I mean, I'm a little older than you. I won't tell you how much older. And don't you say how old Daddy is. But
throw it up.
But one of the things I remember, my grandmom, I would go to my grandparents' house every weekend. And on the way to my grandparents' house, we would stop by this place called the Dutch Cupboard. It's in Harleysville, Telford, PA area, and it was probably no bigger than the size of your room here. And they just had it packed with candy. And I used to get the 5 pounds. She's already hearing this story, but a 5-pound bag of gummy bears my grandmother would buy me. Nice. And that was like the highlight of my week or my month, when I was going to my grandparents.
Like you knew when you were going out there that was going to happen.
It was a special,
look forward to.
Special treat. And so, again, that's part of one of the reasons why we did it was just we're kind of hoping to plant those seeds that the kids can remember. That, because like you said, if the mall isn't here,
there's definitely not anything like that here. Like my kids were not experiencing a place where they could go and pick out cool candies that aren't in the aisle at Food Line.
Right.
And now they do.
Yeah, or Aldi's or what are the big box stores.
Right.
I mean, you can go there and do that, but you do that anyways for everything else.
Well, yeah, and it's just different. And a lot of times, like you said, like you are in the store, so like you're pulling the levers and pushing the dials of like what you need, what the demand is. And like a lot of times those other things at more chain events, it's someone that lives nowhere near here that's saying this is what needs to be sent to that location and stuff like that. So the nicheness of what you're able to bring in is really cool.
Yeah, and it's based on maybe somebody that was local that said, hey, like we brought in the Melody Pops. I don't know if you remember them as a kid.
Yeah,
the little whistle pops.
Yeah.
We brought those back in. Little did I realize in my research that you can't get them in the U.S., so they're imported from overseas. Okay. But it was just neat to get that because I remember that as a kid. There are a lot of other things I can't get because they're discontinued. Manufacturers have discontinued it. But it is neat to see some of that
slobbery, stuff. The slobber whistle sucker.
Yeah,
we remember that. You blow it, and it's like
like the trumpet, right?
Yeah, it's like
throwing out the spit. Unfortunately, but we don't sell that part of it when we're selling
the
spit
free.
Yeah.
It's very kind of you guys to just offer them in that fashion.
We had a grandfather come in back to like the whistle part, and he purposely, his daughter was with him and then their grandchildren, and he purposely got all the noisemakers in the stores.
Yes.
He got the bird whistle, the blow pop, whistle pop, and then he got the train whistle, and he said, you know, he was sending the grandchild home with his mom to get back at the mom, I guess, when, you know, she was a kid. So if you want to do that as a grandparent, you know, we'll hook you up, and you can just blame it on, you know, Hadassah at Alien Fizz, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
That's right. So,
what's the actual address of the store down there? I don't know it offhand.
Do you know the address?
Maybe.
What do you think it is?
Something North Herritage Street?
It is on North Herritage Street.
It's 200 something, right?
It's 203.
203.
Well, actually, it's 204. I'm sorry.
204.
I always say 203 because we actually lived in Natick, Massachusetts for a year, and the address was 203. And I'm thinking it was actually Bacon Street. I kind of blot out my New England, Massachusetts, but I'm pretty sure it was 203 Bacon Street.
That is hilarious.
So that's why I'm looking at Bacon, saying the address. It's actually 204 North Herritage Street. 204
North Heritage. Yeah, you're on the west side with us.
Yeah, we're on
even side.
the even side.
Directly across from Just Add Salt in that parking lot, though, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So if you know like where Just Add Salt is, you know where that little Citizens lot parking lot is. It's city property over there by the Beauty Box, the Hometown Exchange. If you ever have parked in the parking lot for Jay's, you could literally park in that same spot and go get a bunch of candy, soda, whistle toys, and also you had this new thing I saw today with like pigs in the mud. Is that like a toy?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
There's like squishy pigs, like they're made out of rubber, and you can roll them around in the slime, which is a toy. So it's like giving your pigs a mud bath.
That's sweet.
Pig pen. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. That's cool. And so it's a lot more things than just like things you eat, drink, consume. I mean, you guys have like, I know my kids went in, my oldest bought like a Smarties purse.
Oh, yeah.
And the younger one got like a pretzel purse or a little bag. So there's all sorts of different miscellaneous things in there too. It's not just a consumables type spot. Like you guys have, it's a great place to go buy gifts for kids. I mean, you can't just go normally buy in town. I mean, you guys have a cool, like an eclectic collection of cool stuff over there for sure.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun part to me is, you know, seeing that when you can see a kid and, you know, find something that they, you know, just can't find anywhere else.
They hadn't seen. They're like,
yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah.
You know,
which is really special today in the world of like everyone having a phone and YouTube and stuff. So yeah, you go in and you see it, like, because I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, my kids will love that thing. And I was like, I better not show them because I'll have like 4 of those at the house.
That is true. That is true.
But they are cool. Very neat stuff.
The kid in the candy store is giving new meaning too when we do this sometimes. So it's always fun to watch kids come in and where they gravitate towards in the store. We feel a little better. I mean, I lost a lot of my hair, but when you first came in, you remember we used to have our soda. We kind of were intentional the first month or two to have our soda line there so people would see it. But as we've gone on, we've realized that probably makes a lot of parents nervous because they think their kids are going to domino effect all of our sodas on there.
And stuff.
So we've taken them all away except for a little bit of Fizz, the alien green slime. I have like 6 bottles on the bottom shelf. But it's been a lot better since we've done that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't been worried about someone knocking over a bottle anymore.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that. You roll in there and you're like one parent with like 6 kids and you're like, oh my gosh, this is about to cost me like $93 in busted bottles if one kid pushes the other one at the wrong time or something.
And 3 hours of cleanup.
No doubt.
You know, and accidents do happen. We know that.
Totally.
But we try to prevent them. So we've rearranged the store a little bit since then. So
that's cool. Interesting fun fact, if you don't know, and Harry will not co-sign on this, but I'll say it. You can actually buy the sodas and pack them as long as you pack them really well in a box and you know what you're doing. You don't put glass on glass and send it. But we were able to. I've got a friend out in Salt Lake City, and him and his kids, they're into the craft soda game out there. And so we had stopped by. He's a client of mine, and so it was a cool little business write-off for me and a way to send some cool stuff to him and his kids. But we came in, got like a 6-pack sampler of the Alien Fizz sodas, and then shipped them all the way out there to Salt Lake City. I think they got there. We sent them ground, actually, and it worked out. We were tempting fate by sending them ground.
Especially during the winter.
During the winter to Salt Lake, and it was kind of cold. But they ended up making it, and it was really cool. They loved it. They thought it was awesome. So if you're out there and you're like, man, you're trying to send something cool from your hometown to like someone else in their hometown, it's a pretty cool little gift. And, you know, it's not super expensive to ship it. Again, if you're already sending a package, there's some really cool stuff you can grab down here from these guys. It helps support them, it helps support your town. It gives your town and the kids in your town, whether you're a kid or not, some really cool stuff to go check out and do. So
yeah, no, and that's one of the neat things for us is I always tease people about the Alien Fizz part of it. You know, you can't find the Alien Fizz soda anywhere else as far as our labels and all that. Mm-hmm. And so I always tease people, if they find it anywhere, let me know, because I'm going to have to come after them. Right. So if you ship it to Utah, you know, it's rare out there. If you ship it to Arizona or wherever, it's, you know, it's rare. And that was intentional too. The labels are pretty fun. You know, when I say the labels, our characters are pretty fun on purpose, you know, to take that old, like you said, the old with the new.
Yep.
So
absolutely. Actually, what was funny about it was I'd sent him to him, and he was like, he called me, he goes, "These are non-alcoholic, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "All right, I just wanted to make sure." And I was like, "Well, what made you ask?" Like, I sent him, and I said, like, for you and the kids. And he was like, he goes, "Well, I just wanted to make sure." He goes, "Because usually when you see such an involved label, it's with the microbreweries and craft beers." And he was like, "I just hadn't seen a label on an actual just soda, like not just soda, but like not a non-alcoholic beverage that had so much artistic stuff to it." So he was actually pretty impressed with it. He legit got him and was like, "I can give these to my kids, right?" Like, and I was like, yeah. He's like, "Cool." They're really involved and they're really cool looking. I just assumed they were probably like craft beers or something. I was like, "No, you're good." So it was funny.
No, that's good to know. That's encouraging to know too, because we don't talk about the labels too often. I mean, I don't typically in the 45 minutes that you spend at the store, I don't usually talk to you about.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
You know, the labels. Yeah, we'll include that the next time. He's going to make sure that I'm not in the front when he comes in.
No, I'm just playing with you. I just love it. I think it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, but it is, you know, we have been, you know, blessed with it as far as, you know, people have been enjoying it. So, you know, and our hope is, you know, we have 5 kids. My hope is one of them, you know, if we're able to do it long enough and stay in business long enough that, you know, we can pass it on to one of the kids and they can, you know, have it as well, you know, for the next generation, because I think it's something special.
So. Yeah, I might.
Yeah.
Yep.
As long as you keep the numbers good, we'll be all right, right?
That's right. Don't do daddy math.
No, that's what I like about it too, that I can definitely tell. It's like y'all moved to Kinston, you know, for reasons and stuff, but like the slowdown and the family orientation of it all, the way that you work the kids into the business and stuff, like there's a lot going on there. It's more than just like, you're not just, the whole point of Alien Fizz isn't, I mean, it'd be great, you know, money is fantastic and it helps things, but like you guys have got a lot more cool things going on. So there's Chris, it's the dude from Sugar Hill. I don't know if you know, Chris Moore just popped his head around the corner, but he's hilarious. He was on a couple episodes.
I was going to say he was on here.
Yeah,
not too long ago.
Good fun.
So.
He couldn't say oyster, and then Dan Owens was making fun of him because he came on. He was like, "Oh man," he's like, "I could tell Chris had a couple of sodas before he came down. He couldn't say oyster." I had a good laugh, so it's pretty funny.
The Boston accent there, the oyster.
Oyster.
No, I don't even know if I can say it. No,
I don't know either.
Sarah could say it. I cannot say New England stuff. So, but that's good. Well, we appreciate it, Zach. You know, we appreciate what you're doing for the community. You know, behind the scenes. You know, as you talked about Alien Fizz and why we're with the family, you know, obviously we're not making millions of dollars yet until Jeff Bezos sends me my check.
Well, you're going to put the Alien Fizz on Amazon eventually, I'm sure. So.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But, you know, the idea is that we're just trying to give back to the community, you know. And I, like you, I have a big heart for small businesses, so I love hearing the stories. I love what you're doing with the podcast, because it's just neat to hear there's so many people that are, you know, have a business or have a business background. And, you know, I want to encourage them. You and Stephanie actually just helped Alex. I'll probably butcher Alex's last name, Ordman.
Yeah, Ormond.
Is that how you say it? You know, you just...
Like Ordmond or something.
Ordman. So, Alex, if you're watching, you'll have to let us know how you say it.
Sorry about that, Alex.
And by the way, Hadassah's hopefully not going to make you cry, but, you know, with her name pronunciation, that's a little insider thing with Alex. But you know, that's the type of thing I like to see, you know, where you guys are able to help him get a website. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but that was the first, I think he said that was their first website.
Yeah, I think I believe so.
35 years, I think they've been in, and you guys just gave him a website, and then you've kind of helped him consult with some of the things he wants to do, and that's important. You know? And I think that's part of where Kinston, there's so much potential.
Oh, totally.
You know, there's so much, and I hear stories, you know, now as I talk to people in the store and they share about people that are coming back to Kinston.
Yep.
about kids that actually aren't leaving Kinston, which is important. And that's all important with Kinston being able to succeed and be viable for the next generation, is because you got to have these people investing in the community. You know, the schools obviously are important, family is important, but the business part of it is probably just as important as all that other stuff, because you don't have the businesses, as you know, people won't stay.
Yeah, a town with no economy don't do too well in the local tongue. But
No, not at all. So that's part of the part that we like to see, and I want to hear those stories, and I hope that you keep bringing on people, to hear their stories and stuff. So,
for sure. Yeah, that's kind of like the plan of the whole deal. Is like, I know you guys probably did it when you moved here. You Google the town that you're prospectively thinking of moving your life to, and you see things, and you're like, oh my goodness, I know for us, we were like, all right, whatever, and then we looked at things, and you search, and when the search results are crud, it makes you think twice about it. And so long and short of that is, on YouTube there was when I started doing the podcast, 220, 250 roughly videos that have been hashtagged Kinston. So, and most of them were not really flattering. And so I was like, all right, cool. If I can do 200 podcasts in a year and I hashtag all of them Kinston, I can almost provide the same number. I can almost double the amount of videos, and trust me, I like some negative stuff from time to time. I like to poke a little here and there. But if I do 196 positive ones out of 200, I'm going to really change the landscape of that. And so what my goal with this is, in the next year, 2, 3 years, when we start pushing for people to move here, and this guy, their wife, is like, hey, I think we should move to this town. Their significant other pulls out Google, because Google will also give you YouTube videos as a part of search results.
Yeah,
that you're going to get 2 or 3. Yeah, it's all the same. 2 or 3 of those videos that it shows are going to be these positive videos that are like, oh, there's a whole town. There's some guy interviewed 200 people from that town in a year, and they all had great things to say about it.
Right.
Instead of this crap where you got a guy riding his bike around being an idiot, or you got all this stupid stuff, and it's like, let's drown out the negativity. And you can't just be like, no more negativity, no more The only way to really push it down in the feed is just pump tons of positivity over top of it.
Right.
And let people just pick what they want.
Yeah,
people, negativity gets more likes than you watch the news. If the news was just telling you all the cool stuff that was good happening every day, nobody would ever watch it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just
bad news always sells. That's a part of the selling process of it. But and this is what Kinston needs. I mean, they need the community. I mean, they have people like Leon. They have a hidden gem in Greg Hannibal, which a lot of people don't know. Greg Hannibal. Every time I say his name, they're like, who? But he's with the Small Business Development Center, which actually is in the same exact building that Leon's in, just up on the mezzanine area. And his whole thing is he helps small businesses, whether it's a grant, whether it's loans, whether it's how to do math or budget, and various things, marketing, and it's part of Lenoir County Community College's program as well. And so there's just a lot of people don't know about it, and that's part of educating it.
I did know about it, but I've been trying to figure out what to do about a grant writer or something for our business, because there's tons of grants for this advanced manufacturing and all this stuff, and it's like, that's not my personality. I'm never going to sit there and figure it out which grant to apply for and then write it. That just sounds horrible to me.
Right. There are people that actually know how to do it,
and that's that's
their game.
Yeah, and they're a part of the community, and they're paid to their job is to help people like us find those things.
Right.
So I'm like,
Greg would probably be one to point you, even then he puts you in the right direction. I mean, the resources and stuff.
Yeah, it's either him or he knows who to go to after that.
Right. Because Janelle with what's it called?
The
Whiskey Pig. Yep. Basically, they're going through their USDA certification, which I think is a 3-year process. But part of that is a grant involved, and she has reached out to Greg on that, I believe, to help her with that.
Awesome.
And so it's a resource, and it's a resource people just don't know about.
I legitimately have lived here 3.5 years, and I just learned something completely. That is something that I've been looking for. So
so
yes. That's awesome.
I
love doing these things, dude. I learn something every night. It's amazing.
No, and that's
cool.
good, and that's where kind of, community getting together, somebody should know somebody.
Yep.
And that's what you want when people talk and they open up the dialect, they should know somebody. And that's kind of where, Alien Fizz aside, that's kind of what we're trying to be behind the scenes
people.
is just to point people in the right direction. You know, if somebody wants a certain type of restaurant downtown, I'd love to, you know, say Barry's Smoky Barbecue or, you know, Sugar Hill or Jay's or, you know, whoever. Sorry if I didn't mention anybody, but, you know, the idea there is just to point them in the right direction.
Yeah,
you know?
we do that a bunch, man. We see people kind of wandering on the weekends. You can tell who's not from here really quickly, can't you? And you're like, they're definitely lost. And you're like, what's up, man? What are you guys looking for? Oh, and they turn right around and they're like, they're almost like, thank you.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's Jay's. It's in the alley.
Yeah, signage is something that would be neat to see, you know, where they would put like not like a poster, but just, you know, you're here, the parking lot, here's this list of businesses, you know, here, like kind of like what, you know, we talk about the mall.
Right, yeah,
but,
a mall directory.
You know, a directory of, and
yeah,
this
they
is what's
have
on
one,
the
but
street,
it's literally like, it's over where
nobody
goes,
is,
and
right.
It's like, I understand where the location was like easy to choose because it was city property, but like no one's ever
nobody
parked in there
uses,
yet,
you know, and so when you say, if you go 3 blocks over there and to the right
it'll
and to
tell
the
you about
left,
everything that's
you can
back
come
over
back here then and see where you're going. But if you get lost in the
Good
meantime,
luck.
have fun with it. So
jump up and down. No, that's funny. We've joked about doing, we had kind of done some map stuff, which is a whole nother episode. But anyway, we've talked about doing it on like a TV screen and setting it up right here where it's basically right there in the window and it's just kind of a live scrolling
like a
thing.
live interactive.
Yeah, and it's got maybe like a little 10-second ad for like different businesses, and then, you know, it's got a map or QR code that's always at the bottom, so you can scan it, go to a website, have the map and stuff. So
it kind of makes sense.
if you want to be a big sponsor of that, feel free to let us know. We'd love to take your sponsorships on that thing.
That's
and
right.
Well, like I say in most of my episodes, if you're super jack-loaded rich and $100,000 is not really that much to you, we know what we can do with that $100,000. So you can bring it down. You don't even have to be known. It can be an anonymous check. It can be cash in an envelope. It can be installments. It can be lump sum. Just bring it down. 300 North Heritage. There's a little like slot under the door. You can slide the manila envelope in. No one will know it was you. And we will take that $100,000. I'll take half, $50K. The other $50K will go right here to Harry. Just put episode 33 on it, and we'll split it 50-50, and we'll do a bunch of really awesome, cool stuff for this town. And if you want to be known for doing it, put your name on there, and we'll shout you out. If you want to be anonymous, we're totally cool with that. But anytime you want to do that, just bring it on down, and we'll make it happen.
Sounds
You
like
do some cool stuff down there with 50K?
Her mind's thinking.
Yeah. Can you count? Can you do the math that high? That's a lot of fun stuff. That's a lot of candy.
You can buy a lot of Fizz soda with that.
Yeah, I can buy
Buy a lot of turtles.
the entire store.
Getting close. Getting close. Inventory is pretty high in here at this point. So
Yeah.
I can get all the turtles.
you could get the
Yeah,
turtles.
you could have all the turtles you needed.
Yeah.
You could have a little turtle rescue.
Actually, I cut her a deal. I give you 10 turtles, 50,000.
Oh, chocolate turtles?
And I would throw Fizz, the stuffed animal, in, you know, to seal the deal. So that's priceless. So
yeah, it's more emotional value for you that you're giving up.
That's
there.
right. You know.
Speaking of that, the chocolate turtles. You know what I'm talking about? You know what that is?
Chocolate turtles? I don't know.
You've got to look it up, and then you got to get some in the store. And as soon as you get chocolate turtles in, just go ahead and ring me up, bring them down, because I love them. I don't know what it is exactly. It's some nut. Is it like an almond?
It's
or a
kind of
walnut?
like a cluster bar almost. Yeah. Or cluster is probably not the best way to put it.
It gives you like some salty and sweet all together. So it's basically, it's some type of, you'll have to look it up and let me know.
Have I seen it at Dollar General? It's like made by Mr. Turtle or something like that.
I don't know. Is it?
I'll have to look next time
Potentially.
we're in, but not sure.
I know I've seen something with a turtle on it that might be chocolate and caramel or something.
Yeah, so it's some type of like nut or nut cluster, and then they drizzle like caramel over it, or caramel, however you prefer, and then they dip it in chocolate. It's really good. I know your dad won't eat it because it's got chocolate, but
it has to be really good chocolate with a lot of other stuff in it for me to.
Anthony Thomas is who used to make them in Ohio.
Okay.
They were like a big chocolatier,
okay.
whatever you would call
local to Columbus area.
They are Anthony Thomas, but they ship a ton.
Do they ship all over the world? Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
We come from an area that somebody might have, heard of, maybe Hershey.
Yeah,
small little
I think
town, so. Hershey chocolates.
Yeah, I think I've heard of
that. Nothing big.
Did it burn you out on chocolate? Is that why? Why no chocolate?
I guess because it was probably in the water. Yeah. You know, it was like Willy Wonka. It was probably in the water, and I just didn't like it. It was in the milk bottle. So I don't like chocolate. But Pennsylvania, kind of like Ohio, there's a lot of rich history there. So I mean,
that was a good pun.
That's right. Rich.
Like that.
Yep, that's right. So, but Pennsylvania, snack capital of the world.
Yeah.
Candy, the Germans with all their sweets.
Was Wise
and
potato
stuff,
chips from Pennsylvania as
yep.
well?
Yep, Wise potato chips.
You know how I know of Wise potato chips?
Utz is from there originally.
Did you know that the Wise potato chips brand sued Ty, the maker of Beanie Babies, back in the day?
Really?
Because they created an owl Beanie Baby and they called it Wise, was the Beanie Baby's name. And so Wise Potato Chip Company had an owl as its like
that's their logo. On their
and
bag.
they actually copyright sued the Ty Beanie Baby company over that Beanie Baby.
Who won?
I can't remember for some reason, but I think Wise may have won that, and then Ty came back with like 3 more versions. Like that was like the class of '99 one,
okay.
And so they got sued for it. And then I think they came back with class of 20 or class of 2000.
The Y2K version.
Yeah, they called it like Wiser, and then Wise It. I can't remember. I'm probably butchering it. Allison Merritt was telling me all about Beanie Babies last night. She's got a bunch too, but. Yeah, I think they got sued, and then they came back, and they were like tongue in cheek, and they were like poking the bear a bunch the next like 3 years with the same general idea. But we'll have to look that up.
No,
it's for old people.
But Wise Chip's still around. I don't know if Ty's still around. I guess.
Yeah, they are. There's a little like they're partnering with like Marvel and different things. And like that
okay,
now
so they
too,
do a lot more licensing at this point. Yeah, that's typically what happens with them.
over their own characters like they were doing for a minute, but.
Wise isn't that big, so it's funny. It's just
they're probably still alive because they won that lawsuit. Then
I was going to say they're just a regional chip company that just they do okay.
You're not really into them either. You don't like any of the things from where you're from, apparently.
I do like soft pretzels.
Okay.
A real Philadelphia soft pretzel. I love Italian ice, which is kind of why we have it at the store on purpose. But I grew up with that. I like my gummies, 5 pounds.
You're big on the artificial sweetener foods.
Yep. I like I like a cheesesteak, but it has to be done right. And I like what we call a hoagie, which really is the roll. And then I love, what's it called, shoe fly pie?
Oh, yeah.
What is this?
Explain to them what shoe fly pie is, or try to explain it to them.
I'm not really sure how to explain it.
Yeah, there is no good way to explain a shoe fly pie. And there's really only one way to make it. Anybody who tries to make it from home, I apologize. Yuck. Because the blackstrap molasses, you just can't. You have to get it from Bucks County, PA, from a store called Landis Supermarket. They have like 4 stores up there, and it's just the best shoe fly pie. And I grew up with it. Of course, now it's like $15 for what used to be like $2.99.
I thought we weren't going to age ourselves.
I think it's smaller. Well, I mean that's. That could be
3 years ago.
Prior to COVID. That could be post-COVID. So we won't put how old I am. But that's shoe fly pie is another thing from PA. And there's a lot of good, that is, if I always miss PA, it's always for the food. Yeah. It's not for the shutdown that, forced us to lose our business. It's not for, blah, blah, blah. It's just there's some really good food up there.
Yeah, there is.
And you just can't get it anywhere else. Just like in Ohio, there are certain things you can't get. I mean, pizza is good out in Ohio. So, you guys have a soda out there, don't you? Called Roots Beverage.
Maybe. I don't know. Where
Buckeye. They call it Buckeye soda now.
I don't know.
It's like a really small brewery. It does like a lot of the Buckeye State, I guess Ohio State's sodas. I mean, his logo's on there and everything. Or the Ohio State logo's on there, I should say.
It's a big licensing deal.
Yeah.
Ohio State license their logos out a ton. They make a ton of money off of it. And they're very, the football team, and they're very active on the copyright infringement stuff. Like, I know a buddy that he got hammered by them once. So, they're very serious about that. But when you're making that much by putting it out.
It's their brand. I mean, that's what you're paying for is the brand.
Makes sense.
But anyways, that's PA, that's Ohio, the food and stuff. I think my sugar's crashing, so we don't want to keep you here much longer.
No,
and
you're chilling.
Don't want to keep Hadassah here too much longer either. She's been good. Right? You been okay?
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else to throw in? You good?
You want to throw in any Alien Fizz experience?
Any shameless plugs?
Yeah.
We call it a shameless self-promotion.
How about your book or your artistry?
My book?
Yeah, tell them how many pages you've written. And this is, if you've ever seen her writing, it's like fine print. And you remember the old, they call it steno books, I think? Like the full-size steno book?
Oh, yeah.
It's 200 pages, and how many pages are you on?
I think I'm on like page 174, somewhere like that.
Which is like 600 pages in Daddy's normal writing. It's like fine print. So she does that when it's a little quiet at the store. She usually see her. So if you see her at the counter not paying attention to you when you first come in, it's not because she's
finishing up.
She's writing her book, and
that's why there's a notebook sitting on the table. That's my book.
Oh, okay. Very
now
cool.
you just told everybody where your notebook is. That's going to be the
treasure,
first thing they
treasure trove. Yeah,
they're going to come in and grab it.
I like that.
Have fun with that.
Have fun with that.
Trying to read it.
Is it in cursive or standard print?
It's actually in standard print.
Ooh, so it takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
She does that.
I asked her to make sure she spelled her name for me just so I made sure I got it right on the things. And she wrote it in cursive, and then she looked at me and said, "You can read this, right?" And I was like, yes, I'm just in that last little snippet of people that did learn that. So it wasn't meant to be a joke, but I saw a lot of humor in it. I appreciate that.
It's a homeschooling joke, So.
Maybe I should have written it in code.
I don't know about that. What are like ones and zeros?
Like Sonic
binary?
Code?
Or maybe mirror code.
Mirror code. What is that?
You write it backwards and upside down a certain way, and then you hold it up into the mirror, and you can read it just fine.
Oh, so it's like if you were creating a graphic to put on the front of an ambulance?
Yeah.
Very cool. I like that. That's neat.
Yeah,
Have you seen, sorry, I won't keep you too much longer. Have you seen Chat GPT yet? It's like an AI thing. This is kind of nerdy, and I haven't really messed around with it, so if there's like a bunch of bad stuff about it, I apologize. But
Sarah will be over to see you later.
yeah, that's fine. She'll probably tell me why I shouldn't use it, which is I'm okay with because there's got to be a reason. I'm just exploring it, but it's AI driven. It's like a website, and you can copy and paste something in it, or you can write something that's like, "Sell me a ping pong table," and it'll write a whole thing like a sales pitch to you on a ping pong table, and then you can be like, it might be kind of like a little loose with the language, and be like, "Now rewrite this for me pitching an executive on a ping pong table," and it'll rewrite the same thing with like a little bit different language and different stuff, so you can really fine tune it. And it like it's got some algorithm AI, so it like looks up the words you put in your thing, and then it adapts. But anywho, someone did all that, and then they took the words and they put a pen on a 3D printer, and they put a sheet of paper under it, and they told it to print a sheet of like a story. And so the pen on the 3D printer writes so they put this whole thing in like, tell me, do this for me, and it creates a whole one-page like writing, and then they programmed a machine to hold a pen and write it, so it looks as if someone literally hand wrote it. And if you took that and then Google searched it, you couldn't get hit for plagiarism because it was written one time by a computer based on the inputs you put in, and then it wrote it in hand print.
Where was that when we were in school?
I know. It was like, all I needed it to do was like, I just needed to write, "I will not talk in class" over and over and over again and not look the same. I would have been great. But anyway.
I needed that back in the day, so.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. I can go all night with stupid stuff like that.
So you should have Gabriel on at some point, my oldest son, which probably is a good segue for another gentleman. Have you ever had him on, Jock? Is that how you say it?
Pass a leg.
How do you say his last name?
Pass a leg.
Pass a leg. So pass a leg, that's how you say it. But yes, him and his innovation center that he's opening up, I guess. Cool. So
you going on the 14th, checking it out?
I am not. I'm going on Monday.
Oh, very cool.
Taking Gabriel over there on Monday.
Nice.
So yeah, we're open. That's right when we open. So
that's right. Yeah, true.
Ribbon cutting has never worked for me. So and all ribbon cuttings are during like certain hours.
Yeah, it's like 11 to
So I apologize to all chamber members. I'll never get to your ribbon cutting unless you do it on a Monday. Then I might.
Hey, Chamber of Commerce, if you don't mind, every business is closed on Mondays. So if you don't mind helping us make it to the ribbon cuttings, do them on Mondays.
That's right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if I'd ever be able to make the Mondays. I like the Thursday, Friday ones. Because by then I'm like, I got this thing I got to go to. It's networking. It's for the business. I got to be there.
That's right. Yeah,
it should be cool. I've heard good stuff about his innovation center. You got to check him out. He did an episode with us. It's
did he do one?
Early on. I don't know what episode.
Early
but
episodes.
It's like hour 50. It's a good long one. So
okay. Yeah, he's pretty knowledgeable. So
yeah, he's cool.
And Gabriel is going to talk to him, I think, from what I understand of what he's doing, he's looking for younger kids that don't necessarily have schooling for certain things because it's harder to reprogram. No pun intended there.
I agree.
But it's harder to reprogram them. So he's looking for younger kids that are willing to learn kind of like an apprenticeship, basically,
Yep.
I would imagine. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm taking them over there for that on Monday and going to look at the Innovation Center. I'm just looking forward to that big TV that Matthew, his son, was telling me about that. Supposedly, you know, it's like you can...
The active board computer screen.
Yeah.
It's like a whiteboard size.
It's like my sci-fi app shows, you know, Star Trek and stuff.
So. I'm very interested in
But I'm afraid I'm afraid to ask how much it would cost, so we'll wait till Monday to find that out.
The $50K again, $100,000 underneath. Yeah, $50K here, $50K. We could both get one, and we would look at that. We would take the $100,000 and then directly invest it back
in
into
community.
Another local business.
Yeah,
it's cyclical. Then Jock will probably come buy a bunch of candy from you, maybe get some plastic from us. It'd be great.
Actually, yeah. See, what goes around comes around. In this case, the money will go around.
Yeah,
so
cyclical.
I'll probably get some Sugar Hill pizza for one of the kids because we celebrate all their birthdays with Sugar Hill pizza.
Yeah, it is good though. It is good.
And then obviously candy and some other goodies. So yeah.
Cool.
Well, Zach, thank you for having Hadassah and myself on, and for anybody who actually listened to this, thank you, because I will not be listening to it. So what we got live here is all that we got. I will not go back and review myself. I do not like hearing myself talk, which is funny for somebody that
Will
talks.
you check it out and let them know how you did?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. I'll send it to you. I'll bring it over on a flash drive.
Public speaking was not my thing, so I don't want to.
I wouldn't say that.
Don't want to relive those memories.
I feel you. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it. It's episode 33 of the Kickin' It With podcast. My name is Zac Holcomb. This is Hadassah and Harry Mahler of Alien Fizz. So come down, check them out. Definitely give them a like and a follow on Facebook because you have enough crap on your Facebook feed, so you may as well have some cool pictures of candy and sodas and all the cool, fun things that they have going on. So if you would do that, they would greatly appreciate it. I would appreciate it myself personally because I want to see them be successful like every other business owner down here because the more of them that make it and the more all of us that make it, not just them, but all of us that make it down here, the better it is for the overall town, the image, property values, morale, all the good things of the town. So appreciate it. Catch up with y'all later on the next one. This was episode 33. We'll see you on episode 34.